Hi and welcome. I'm outside today. It's hot and it's beautiful, and I'm here to give a little cosmic update for your rising sign. So if you do not know your rising sign, I would suggest you figure that out in a whole sign because that's the most precise one. And let's dive right into it. So what I'm gonna do today is that I'll both look at the astrology, what are the biggest main things for you, and then I'll pull you a little tarot card as well with some advice for this moment in time. So for Aries rising, in the last week of May, beginning of June, you will feel like you have had some intense moments because you have a Mars and Pluto square that is pressing directly into your money and your career direction. And you might have felt this sense of, how am I gonna, make sure that I am doing what I love to do while I'm also making the amount of money that I like to. And there could have been quite some tension between your true desires in the direction you're going and this sense of obligations that you have. So it's very important for you, Aries rising folks, to take a reality look at your money and career direction, to really allow yourself to slow down when it comes to financial investing. For instance, I would not recommend you, Aries rising folks, to make any hasty decisions regarding bigger monetarily investments before at least the end of June. Because there could be a tendency in your chart right now to go and make a purchase, a big one, that you feel will somehow, navigate you through the tough inner struggles that this Pluto square has been bringing up for you. And I will recommend for you to instead look at long-term investments and how to get yourself stabilized in a sense that suits you and that is true to your new authentic nature. That's very important, especially with Pluto, the lord of the underworld, who is there to dive up all the subconscious junk that you might have around limited beliefs, what you're capable of, the thoughts that you're having that no longer serves you regarding money and career direction. So Aries rising, that's the astrology advice for you, and I thought I will also support you with a little oracle card, because these cards are so wonderful to just give one specific energetic update on what you should be focusing on for these couple of weeks where things can get a little bit extra heated. So for Aries, what is the main energy or advice? Aries rising folks. Yeah, definitely with your sign ruler Mars in Taurus, you should make sure that what you do right now is slow and steady wins the race, as they say. This is definitely the motto right now. Okay, for Aries rising, can we get, thank you very much. So it's funny because you got the 10 of Pentacles but reversed, so that it's just a confirmation of what I was saying about do not make any bigger purchases or any monetarily big spendings throughout the next weeks, because your decisions might be too rooted in this tense square between your chart ruler Mars and Pluto, the lord of the underworld. So there's a risk that you could do some emotional purchases right now that is definitely not very resourceful for the future. So with 10 of Pentacles, hold your wallet tight. Try to not spend much throughout this month if you can. And that's definitely my advice for you, Aries rising. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope to see you some other time. like, subscribe if you like this sort of content, because then we can get the message out there for more people. Thank you so much, Aries Rising. Hi, welcome, Taurus Rising. I'm so happy to have you with me. So, for this last week of May and the beginning of June, what I see for you astrologically is that you are starting to come out of a time where you have felt quite a lot of emotional restraint and confusion and sort of loss of energy, because this Taurus new moon was very sort of resetting for you and making you ask the questions about, where do I want to invest long term? Am I on the right track? Is what I'm doing sustainable for me? But it has sort of like this very emotional flair to it that made you almost feel stuck. So what you will feel throughout the last week of May into the beginning of June is that you will gain some clarity in your sense of determination for things, because sometimes with your steadiness and your stubbornness and your slowness, it might not always serve you for the better, except when there's something that you are so determined to go and get for yourself, and it's in alignment with who you are, then it's the biggest asset ever. And what I will say for this last week of May, beginning of June, is that for sure, when you have set the ground for yourself in the direction you want to go, your stubbornness can create immense determination. No one can get you to do, to lose track of the vision that you have created. There will be a risk though for conflict with a boss or a partner or other sort of authority figures, because you have a Mars Pluto square that sort of like really influences your houses of authority figures. So you should really try to stand your ground even when you're being questioned by perhaps a partner, having a conflict with partners, or if authority figures is sort of trying to tell you what to do but you don't feel that you resonate with it. Taurus Rising, that is the most important thing for you right now. So stay on track regarding determination. Know that this emotional clarity that you are starting to sense within yourself of the direction you want to go in, trust it. And even if you start to feel a little bit of like power struggle coming in, see it as a positive sign if you can, because sometimes, when we really step into our light and determination, it scares other people because they are not doing it themselves. So you might be someone that is sort of radiating this determination that then also gives you a new sense of confidence, and therefore you can piss some people off, Taurus. So I think you should just give yourself the permission slip to piss some people off. And I will end this little short update, cosmic update for you, with a tarot card for some energetic guidance for Taurus Rising for this time. Do you have any energetic guidance? Look around and see how beautiful it is, all this green. I hope you can feel this peaceful energy from this beautiful surroundings, where I found some shade in already 30-degree weather. Woof, it's getting hot. Okay, for Taurus Rising, what can we get for Taurus Rising? Yeah, there's definitely stubbornness in the card. Can we get a little energetic advice? It's so interesting because, oh, there we go. Got the King of Cups, but reversed. And there's something about reversed cards right now, because I just did the reading for Aries Rising, and they got like a reversed card as well. So with the King of Cups reversed, it intuitively come to me that both it has to do with a sort of like swamp time that you have been coming out of emotionally, that I just mentioned in the beginning of feeling like a bit stuck, a bit like emotionally drained and overwhelmed and sort of like not too good because you knew you had to reinvent yourself, take an honest look at something. But also the King of Cups reversed, it could be that these authority figures or a partner or a boss that I was talking about that you might come into conflict with will use some, emotional, immature tricks around you. So just be aware that if someone comes at you in a manipulative, emotional way, don't let yourself be put out of your determination, and stay on track, stay very grounded, stay really concise in what it is that you want to move towards, and don't lose it over some potential emotional outburst, not from other people and also not from yourself, Taurus rising. So this is what I got for you for this little update. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please subscribe, like it, write to me in the comments. I would love to hear from you, and I hope to see you some other time. Gemini rising, welcome. So for you Gemini rising out there, the recent period that you're moving out from has sort of like made a subconscious or spiritual reset. So it has affected your 12th house quite a lot, and you might have felt that recently you've gone through a complete transformative period, but it hasn't been easy on you, Gemini, because it has to do with really old patterns, wounds, financial fears, maybe even having thought patterns from, subconscious ideas that you were not aware of before, and suddenly now they have become so prevalent for you that you had to deal with them. But luckily, Gemini rising, the period that you're moving into at the end of May, beginning of June, would be like a sort of, I would say that you start to get some relief regarding finances, subconscious patterns, the direction in which you're moving. Also, especially home environment. Some of you Gemini risings could have some instability, some sense of what do I do next? Where do I set my roots, for instance, could be a big theme because there's a lot of 12th house activation happening prior to this. So this is really like, where do I belong? What do I do? How do I create a stable home for myself? These will be the questions arising, and they will come with a new sense of hope and security, and also a lot of what I see, because we have this Pluto square that definitely activates a lot of more clarity for you regarding the direction you're going into, regarding for instance, we have Venus square Saturn, which will force you to have some sort of realistic financial planning for your future life. Gemini rising, that's super important for you. And when I say realistic financial planning, it could be regarding home environment, what's important for you, what do you want to invest in, and what's possible for you to invest in. Don't go out and overspend, but also do not restrict yourself if the right opportunity comes up. That's it for you on a astrological level, Gemini. You're definitely moving into a time that will be quite more precise and straightforward for you. You will not have so much 12th house activation moving into the next chapter, which will make it much easier for you to stop acting to subconscious patterns and move into stabilizing your ground. And to finalize this, just gonna ask the tarot for Gemini rising. Do you have any advice for the next couple of weeks for Gemini rising? If you see me sweating, it's because I'm sitting outside in 30 degrees weather and there is absolutely no wind. So here's the vibe. Oh, that's interesting. We got the 8 of Swords, Gemini rising. We see here a person who's like sitting there and being blindfolded, and we were just talking about the 12th house energy of the subconscious patterns that might have kept you stuck for quite some times. And I think there's no better card than the Eight of Swords that demonstrate that sense of stuckness, of feeling that you cannot quite see what's ahead of you, but you are having to deal with a lot of subconscious junk that is restraining you in a very subtle way that feels uncomfortable to you, obviously. And what I see with this card is that it's a reminder that at any time, Gemini rising, you can just get up and take a sword and take off the blindfolds. You don't have to stay in this sense for any extended period of time. So free yourself, Gemini, for your subconscious blockages. Perhaps try to see if you can visualize a complete blank slate that, okay, done, deal, that was the cycle, what's next? Especially regarding finances and planning of home security in particular. So purchases for the next couple of weeks that would be beneficial for you is anything that makes you feel stable, at home, good, at ease, not too expensive, quality products over quantity, and make sure that it really brings you a sense of connectedness to either your roots, your maternal roots, or to the home that you want to create for the future. So that was it. Gemini rising, I hope you liked it. If you did, give me a little comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you some other time. Cancer rising, welcome. This one is for you. So there's quite a big deal going on for you because you have now both Jupiter and Venus that has been activating you directly, and this could have led you into having quite a bit of charisma and magnetism and a sense of more hopeful direction. But the shadow side of this energy that you've been in is also that you could have been activated in emotions that are keeping you stuck in a smaller version of yourself. So Cancer, you move with the moon. You feel the different ebbs and flows of life, and you're very good at sensing the subconscious patterns of other people as well. So when Jupiter is still crossing over your rising sign and expanding everything you might have here, for instance, if you have other planets in your first house as well, because you're Cancer rising in whole sign, you will feel that Jupiter, even though he's a planet of luck and expansion, he could also have activated subconscious and emotional patterns that are holding you back from becoming your true expressive self, also when it comes to the fact that you are in an ebb and flow state, that you are natural, receptive, feminine energy that needs to be working with cycles and seasons and accepting that you are not always on. You also need to retreat at times, which can be difficult in this world. I get that. On the positive sense from this Venus and Jupiter activation, I would say to you, Cancer, that your regained magnetism, you might have had, moments during, if you think back to all the way back to June, July last year until now, towards the end of May, what have changed in me? Where have I seen my emotional benefits? I want to say benefits, my ability to tap into emotions and create from that state and trust the seasons of life, because that's something you are very good at, and if you're not good at it, it's something you might have suppressed, and that could be one of the reasons why you feel stuck. Allow yourself, Cancer rising, sorry, I just had Gemini on, they are very chatty. So Cancer rising, allow yourself to feel your emotions, to feel that they can be magnetizing, that you can use these emotional waters to attract to you what feels right for you, when you emanate also your true nature and how it's more natural for you to be tapping into what many people might not see and use it as your benefit. So for the end of May and the start of June, can we get some advice for Cancer rising folks? I'm outside, I'm sweating, but it's beautiful. It's getting really hot here. We have already 30 degrees. So, yes, Let's see how that's gonna go. Okay, for Cancer rising, any advice for the next couple of weeks? Cancer rising, thank you very much. Okay, we have 8 of Wands, which is a fire element. So what instantly comes to me is that you need to use your ability to sense when the timing is right, to move in the direction that you feel is right for you, because the next couple of weeks might bring you some emotional awareness regarding your self, the persona you take on, or the character that you play, that you feel like maybe it isn't you anymore. Maybe dressing for like the same way for 5 years, 10 years, and you don't see yourself in that way anymore because Jupiter have indeed worked your first house of your personal self, how you define yourself, how you move through the world, what you look like, your preferences, how people perceive you. And perhaps it's time to upgrade those things and say, you know what, I'm not that anymore, and I'm not going to pretend I'm that anymore. So now with this 8 of Wands, move swiftly towards the direction in which you know that you are intended to go. And don't hold back anymore, Cancer rising. It's your time for great expansion. Jupiter is soon done with you, and very often when Jupiter is exiting the sign that he has been working on for a year at a time, that is where you will feel the greatest gifts of Jupiter in your sign. So if you don't feel it yet, you will definitely feel it towards end of June, July, when Jupiter gets ready to move into the sign of Leo. So get ready for that, Cancer rising. Leave me a little comment below. You can like, you can subscribe, and I hope I see you some other time. Bye bye. Be soon. Hi, Leo risings. So this is a little cosmic update for the last week of May, beginning of June for you guys. What I immediately think of when it comes to you, Leo risings, is that there might be, because of the Pluto square to Mars, there might be some serious sort of purging around the relationship you have with your work and your home, versus, relationship to bosses, authority figures, things that makes you feel sort of restrained or limited at this moment. There are deep questions happening right now regarding your dharma in life, your life purpose, that is sort of making you question and make an assessment of, what do I really want? What is it that my true dreams require me to do? You will feel a level of pressure, and you have felt this for at least a month of time, but especially around this time, that is making you question your emotional needs and the direction in which you're going in. And it's going to be a very possibly emotional healing period for you regarding your life's purpose, the direction you're going in, the questions that you're asking yourself. There can be a deep need for you to take some solitary time, to spend time out in nature, to journal, to take a deep breath, because for you, Leo risings, it has felt quite intense. You have had like a lot of activations regarding your home and your work environment, whether you are at the right place or working on the right thing. And there is just this inner calling within you that is being activated highly by, this Pluto square Mars, that you cannot no longer overlook what it is that you truly want and desire. And there will be a pressure to go and pursue it. And that is so important for you to take the time to listen to that direction, to actually make an assessment and say, okay, maybe I used to want this, but it's not really in alignment with me anymore. So can I let go of it? Can I grieve the things that I didn't become or that I no longer need? Can I take a time to let myself go on an emotional catharsis so that I am ready for the next step? Because the pressure is building within you, Leo risings. You will be feeling that you are being called closer to your purpose, to your dharma in life, and you cannot overlook it. And when you do, it's physically painful for you. So that is the astrology, quick astrology checkup for the next couple of weeks for you, Leo rising. And I'm also gonna, in this version, I'm gonna ask the tarot for just one advice. Beautiful. I've had a lot of reversed cards for the other signs today, and you got a reversed Two of Swords as well. So usually Two of Swords is a decision and in a conflict between two sides that keep this person stuck and blindfolded. And in a reverse position, you have been in this extended period of time where you felt the inner pull towards where you want to be, and looking at where you're at and feeling that they are in conflict with each other, and therefore that creates a lot of tension, a lot of stress, a lot of need of saying enough. I just don't want this shit anymore. I cannot deal with it. And getting this card in reversed, it seems to me that there will be a period of time where it might have been amplified quite a bit, but it will come to an end very soon, Leo rising. So take the time in solitude to get clear on what is your purpose in life, what really truly matters to you, and spend this time in a very thoughtful way to get yourself courageous enough to move towards what it is that you truly want. So that was it for your mini reading, Leo. And if you like it, maybe you can give a little comment so that I know what's going on for you. I would love to read and hear from you. You can subscribe, and you can come back some other time. I hope to see you. So, Virgo risings. Wow. So 2 weeks ago, we had like a Taurus a new moon that were highly affecting you, especially if you are born in some of the early degrees of Virgo rising. This has to do with karmic patterns, liberation, especially from karmic bonds, karmic patterns, karmic ways of being in life that you have outgrown, that you have gotten your lesson, that you no longer need to carry. Also with Mars, Pluto pressure, because they are forming a square at this moment, you will feel some sort of pressure regarding, your work, your purpose. The recent realizations that you have had regarding your purpose has, for many of you Virgo risings, you could have felt that you were being really confronted with some of the deepest questions about why is this always following me? Why does this always happen to me? Why do I always meet this type of people? And around a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, you would have made some realizations that got you out of these karmic loops. And it's very important that you now step into your newfound awareness and way of being, and learning that you do not have to repeat the karmic loops, especially again when it comes to work and purpose. It could be that maybe you always find yourself in jobs that burns you out, and now you have found that your purpose is in some completely different field of work, and now maybe it's time to go for that. Maybe it's time to add on a different education, or be freelance or entrepreneur, whatever it is that you have been thinking of doing. Virgo, now is a good time to set the ground for that. Also, we have Venus square Saturn, so I would say be realistic around long-term goals, but not to an extent where it holds you back, because Virgo risings, you like to analyze and make things in the correct way. So this square should not be an amplification of that, but instead a utilization of your big soul gifts of thinking, I want to go there and I need to take this and this step to go there. So I would also say that try to make an assessment of where you are at now. Try to change how, or I wouldn't say change, because it can be difficult when we work with the subconscious, but I would say it like this. What you realized a couple of weeks ago, perhaps up to 1 month ago, that broke a sense of karmic loop. What would the person do that no longer have these repeating loops anymore? What choices would a person like that make? And write it down and start doing that. Start being that person that you know that you are now, instead of reinforcing the old patterns because they feel familiar. So astrologically, that is what this time requires of you, Virgo risings. I'm just going to pull a little tarot card, which I did for the other signs as well, to see what other advice we might have for Virgo rising energy. Or, oh wow, thank you so much. Got the 9 of Pentacles. So I really feel like that's in alignment with the earth element of building something, of building a future that is sustainable for yourself monetarily, but also in a purposeful way, where you gather all the resources you built up until now and you make sure that they are in fertile ground, that, you know, because the woman on this, she's growing grapes, and it takes a specific skill set to be able to harvest delicious grapes like this, and it's not for everyone. So make sure to put in the work, Virgo rising, that will lead you to be able to harvest the grapes. So that was the message for you. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give a little comment or shout out or like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I hope to see you some other time. Kisses. Libra rising. Wow, you have been in an intense period of time. I can really see that maybe a lot of you have felt that there has been a big, intense tension between your ambitions when it comes to your personal goals, your career, versus perhaps your marriage or close relationships, or maybe even like an authority figure that has been putting you out of balance, has been questioning yourself. It can also be your own inner authority recently that has been put out of balance. Perhaps you're very hard on yourself with this Mars-Pluto purging square. So there's a lot of subconscious patterns that are coming up for people right now, including you, Libra rising. So pay attention to anything that you have committed to long-term or on contract, and see if that is keeping you back from pursuing what you know to be true and right for you. There's also a Venus-Saturn pressure at this moment, which is asking you to reclaim your boundaries, to learn how to assert your personal space, to learn how to say no and when to say no. That's very important for you, Libra risings, because Venus square Saturn in this area of relationships for you as well could very well be that there is an ongoing conflict in your home or in your marriage or in any long-term contracts that you have committed to, that you will really need to look into and see how you can reclaim your sense of boundaries, your sense of self, because in those areas there's a big chance that you might have been losing yourself slowly but steadily every time you didn't say no. And now you find yourself at a pressure cooking point where these things are just so obvious that you can't ignore them anymore. And even if it feels, you know, quite dreadful for your balance-loving nature to say no, this is what's required for you right now. Libra risings is very important for your overall purpose and the direction you move into. At this moment in time, it will be especially prevalent for the next couple of weeks, which is the end of May, beginning of June. So be aware of any, conflicts, again, within close relationships, especially regarding to the future that you see for yourself, your ambitions, and where you want to go. And just as for the other signs, I will pull a little tarot card for you with some advice. Oh wow, that came out quite quickly. You got the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles, she's incredible at nurturing one thing and holding that thing very dearly, taking care of it and knowing that more will grow out of it. So this is really a sort of reminder that it's important for you, Libra risings, to go for what you want and try to not care so much about what other people might think about it, and be willing to face conflict, if anything, have a say, because this is your life, it's your path. Of course, be nice to people, you know, like be a good person, but you are also not nice to the people closest to you if you seek balance through pleasing, because there's a big difference between being a nice person and being a kind person. A nice person gives compliments, keep the peace, you know, equal out, balance out everything, to not stir up the waters. A kind person know how to compassionately say, this is not working for me, this is not good for me, I love you, but I set my boundary here. That is kindness as well, because you learn, you teach other people how to treat you. So if you don't have this sense of boundaries for yourself, Libra risings, you can also not expand in your inner ambitions, because you will simply just not have the energy to do so. So get ready to assert yourself in a compassionate way, Libra risings. I know that this might be some things that can be really difficult for you guys, but nonetheless it will be super rewarding as well, that you can learn to have that within yourself and know that you can trust yourself with keeping your boundaries and protecting yourself as well and your goals. So if this resonated, if you liked it, or where you are in life, feel free to leave a comment below. I will read them, and I hope to see you some other time. Bisous. Scorpio risings, the lover of mystery. Well, you are being encouraged to speak your truth. I know you, Scorpio, you can come across quite intense when you do that. So do it with compassion, but your ability to speak the truth and see through things and emotional, you know, distortions and manipulations is needed in this period of time, whether it's regarding yourself and your own sort of like neglections of where you really want to go, or if it's in an environment or a friend group. So we have a Mars-Pluto square where you would need to confront some domestic matters or home matters or matters regarding your subconscious mind, where you might have not been completely in alignment with your true own self, or connected to the depth in which you live, because you're Scorpio rising. Can go really deep very easily compared to other signs. And the thing is, in the end of May, beginning of June, there could be, we have like Venus square Saturn, so there could be some other legal matters, debt, or people who owe you money. It could be some obligations, some taxes that you need to pay. You know, there could be some surprises regarding that. It can go both ways, because it can either be, you know, taxes that are owed to you, or that you owe some taxes. It could be debt, it could be inheritance, it could be legal matters of all kinds. It could also just be your own restraints regarding fear of, you know, fear of deep psychological matters and debts and inheritances from other people. So be really aware of speaking the truth with compassion for this next couple of weeks, because you will be reaching a tension point within yourself and within your environment, Scorpio risings, that you just cannot overlook, and where you would need to really clear this tension. So this time is about clearing tension through emotional release of what no longer serves you within and what no longer serves your close relationships. And as for the other signs, I will take a tarot card to guide you into which energy for you Scorpio risings that is advised for the next couple of weeks. Yeah, Scorpio rising, you're one of the signs that are just you're so complex in nature, but this advice for the next couple of weeks is so simple. It's really just speak your truth with compassion, because that will set you free in ways that you didn't even realize that you were bound. So let's see if the cards has anything for you while I'm sitting here and cooking in 30 degrees shadow. Whew. But it's beautiful. Look at all the green around. Hope you're having a good time, Scorpio risings. It's not always easy to navigate these cosmic weathers, but it's a dance of our soul. There's a reason why we're here, and when we sit still for long enough, we all know why we are alive. So we get the Eight of Cups reversed, which is quite interesting. I have been reading for most of the signs today, and I noticed that a great deal of reverse cards are coming up. And whenever I see that pattern, it's really clearly a sign that, the times has changed. We are all coming out of something, and especially for you, Scorpio, Eight of Cups related to emotions, but reversed, coming out of a time of distortion, maybe with people around you, or how you emotionally distort yourself, that you don't trust your deep emotional, intuitive nature, which is also part of speaking the truth, right? Because if you want to speak the truth, you have to be truthful with yourself too, and make sure that you're not viewing through a lens of distortions, that you can accurately perceive what's going on, and that you can make a peaceful statement that can resolve what's happening, first of all, within yourself. So that's the clear message for you, Scorpio risings out there. If you like it, leave me a little comment and let me hear where you are at in life. And yeah, hopefully I will see you some other time. And if not, bisous, bisous. Okay, Sagittarius rising. It's getting hot, not just because of you, but because it's actually really hot. So Sagittarius rising. Well, there is right now, for the end of May, the beginning of June, a strong activation in a square between, Mars and Pluto, the Lord of the Underworld, which results in your specific case, when you are a Sagittarius rising, in anything that has to do with work matters and health. And what is particularly important for you at this moment in time is to make sure, Sagittarius risings, that you are in alignment with your physical body. Like if you, for instance, start feeling now that there's been quite some time where you have been burning yourself out, or you've been running on fuel that you do no longer have any reserves for, now is the time to change that. Now is the time for you to really tap into what I call your unrealized dreams, because with Pluto, the Lord of the Underworld, square to Mars, there's an activation here that is quite rare, quite confronting, that might be able to set you onto a new path in life regarding your daily habits and your health. So this is a very potent window in time to say, you know what, I always have stomach pain when I eat that thing, or when I go to that person's house, I leave with a headache. You know what, Sagittarius rising, there's always a reason. The body speaks to you. So if there's anything you would like to change regarding your health and habits, and your work habits in particularly, now is the window in time for you to do that. Also, like unrealized dreams are not a sad thing, because if you can see it, if you know that they are there and you haven't reached them, now it's time for a reinvention. Now it's time for you to say, wow, I didn't even know that I had that dream, or that it was still in me, that I wanted to, move to Australia and have a farm, or whatever it might be. And these unrealized dreams will come to the surface right now with Pluto activating that essence in you. And it's important that you listen to it in this moment. Wow, there's a breeze. Thank you, universe. And Sagittarius rising folks, you will feel this strongly, because having the fire energy coming in and activating something in your subconscious is within your natural habitat of expansion, of joy, and perhaps it's time for you to go and book that flight, book that train, go to that person you wish to visit, and look into what can I do as small steps that might be reactivating, reigniting my dreamy self, my expansive self, my sense of being unlimited being who is capable of creating what I desire. I'm not saying that, if you're if you're 80 years old and you always wish to be a pro soccer player by 20, perhaps, okay, that's an unrealized dream that would be a little bit hard to correct in this lifetime, perhaps in another life, who knows. But for now, it could also just be that you want to paint and you just never pick up a damn paintbrush because you keep talking yourself out of it. So these unrealized dreams are still there, Sagittarius risings, and it's up to you to give them life again, to ignite them with your fire. And now I'm gonna pull one tarot card as a little extra to this reading. Oh, that really wanted to come out. Let's see. For you, what advice do we have to Sagittarius rising? Okay, we have the Four of Pentacles. I like this card today. Usually I don't like it too much, the Four of Pentacles, but in this deck I really like it because it reminds me of a good chess player. Like someone who is so confident in their game, know that they have made the great moves for a foundation for themselves so that they stand really strong in the game. And it's almost like you and your unrealized dreams is like it's like life has forced you into playing, becoming a good chess player. And it's funny that this idea comes in my head now, so it must be to some of you out there who will get it, because I don't get chess. But that you have been really refining your skills of being a great chess player at this moment in time, and perhaps the next strike that you're gonna hit is through opening the door to some of your unrealized dreams so far. Because even if you're 90 year old, if you still have your mind, you can still tap into some of those dreams, and you can still do it now in this moment. So Sagittarius rising, that was my message for you, my little cosmic check-in. If you liked it, please subscribe, like, support this channel, or if you have anything to say, please leave me a comment in below and I'll read it. Bisous. Capricorn risings. Well, at the end of May, towards the first week of June, astrologically, there's a great activation of your house of romance. There's a need for you to take it slow and to try to see if you can leave that seriousness that you sometimes tend to go through the world with, and become more of a playful nature for a while, to allow yourself to tap into that joyful, childlike way of being in the world. Because right now there's pressure, there's Mars forming a square to Pluto, the lord of the underworld, that gives you a little window of time into where you might have lost yourself when it comes to not allowing yourself to be playful, to be joyful, to be sensual in life, to enjoy life, to indulge in life, to flirt with life. And sometimes, I really love Capricorn rising. You're really good with structure and steadiness towards your goals, and you're really committed once you commit yourself to something. However, it also comes with a little shadow sides that can be that you overlook the small pleasures in life, that you think you always have to figure things out. And because we have Pluto in the square to Mars right now, everything that you have tried to figure out from your mind but has been staying stuck because of subconscious patterns will be coming up now. And there could be a sense of grief, there could be a sense of like, I'm not really feeling at ease with this energy right now, what is happening to me, because there's a tension build up. And I would really recommend for you to open to the idea that if you can allow yourself to be in this present moment and feel joy, feel gratitude, feel like, wow, look at these beautiful green leaves or the sun on my skin, you have a complete new and more easeful way in life. There's also, right now, you will be facing a Saturn and Venus square, and that is sort of making you look at realism in regards to your home and your family, because realism doesn't mean boring. It just means to make an assessment, to say, regarding my joyfulness and my sensuality and my lust for life, is any of that being buried in my home environment or around my family, where I restrict myself, where I'm not quite myself, where I cannot not expand who I truly am anymore? And Capricorn rising, I'm back. My phone got overheated, which is kind of funny because I was talking about whether you have anything in your home environment or your family where it's getting heated because of this, square Mars, square Pluto, that is restricting you from feeling this joy in life. So I would really recommend for you, Capricorn risings, to compassionately ask yourself, am I in an uplifting environment, and is it helping me to move towards where I want to be in life? And now, like I did for the other signs, I will pull one tarot card that can give you some advice for the last week of, oh wow, Queen of Cups. So Queen of Cups, she is the master of her emotional state. She knows what she needs. She knows how to nourish herself. And this couldn't be any more perfect, because Capricorn rising, you are in an earth element. And sometimes your realism, your way of being good at analyzing and moving steadily towards a goal, is not always serving you if you do not also make an assessment of your true emotional desires and need as well. Maybe you find yourself in a home environment where everyone is super logical, and therefore your logical world also has to comply to their logical world. But now, what do you do when you feel uncomfortable expressing your emotions like joy and happiness and playfulness, like childlike playfulness is what I'm trying to say. That's really required of you in this time, Capricorn rising. So that is it for me now. If you like it, please subscribe, like it, put a little comment below. I'd be happy to read from you, and have a nice one. Bisous. Okay, Aquarius rising, welcome. So for the end of May, beginning of June, there's a theme for you, because we have this activation of Mars square Pluto, the Lord of the Underworld, which right now activates feeling around home and career reassessments for you. There will be maybe something likely happening around your property or your rentals that you need to reconsider. Could also be that you feel like a over responsibility for other people's finances or way of being, or you're taking just simply too much on your shoulders. That is a big theme for you, Aquarius, that I see, especially when we have Mars squaring in with Pluto, the underworld, that you have a very humanitarian perspective on life. You would like to keep everyone, nice, aligned, but on an interpersonal level, it can sometimes be difficult for you to deal with those emotional contrasts and stir-ups that might be in such relationships. So you take on responsibility for the masses in many cases, or you can be the responsible one at your workplace that gets extra, workload, or you could be an entrepreneur or other kind of work where you work for yourself, but you don't know how to outsource anything to anyone because you only trust yourself. Those things will come up right now. I see with Venus square to Saturn that there's going to be themes for you around communication, stresses, how to say when enough is enough as well. And there will be a need for reassessment about your daily habits, your routines on how you take care of yourself, particularly around, carrying too much on your shoulders, Aquarius rising. You've been doing so for quite a while. It has been tough for you in many areas because you are also a humanitarian. You like to be of help to your community. You like to show up for people, a big group of people. But the thing is that you also eventually have to retreat home to yourself and make sort of sure that your daily habits, your routines are in alignment with someone who can take on that load of things. So perhaps you would need to integrate a new form of self-care or a new sense of, movement and navigation towards perhaps what you truly feel, because sometimes that can be a little bit of a abstract concepts for you, Aquarius risings, not from a bad place, but just because you tend to be thinking in the broader pictures of humanity and what's good for all is good for you. And so it can become quite complex for you to understand your own emotional needs as well. So as I did for the other signs, I will pull you one tarot card with some advice for the last week of May, beginning of June, the energy that you're moving into. What do we have for you? What do you need? Yeah, there's definitely responsibility regarding your work environment will be coming up. There will be some pressure, some conflicts. Something where you have to say clearly no. Okay, there's been quite a lot of reverse cards, and I feel like this is a little bit of a big mess for you, because I can see when the cards do like this, they are very like in all directions. So you got the Knight of Cups, but in reversed. So be aware of immature emotional energy, either around how you treat yourself or how other people treat you. So take a deep breath when you feel the pressure coming up, Aquarius risings, and try to ask yourself, to what extent is it still responsible for me to carry on this way? So whenever things get heated or conflict might arise for these weeks, maybe even within just yourself, just really ask, am I still being responsible towards myself? So that's what I got for you, Aquarius rising. You can leave a comment below, you can like, subscribe, and I hope to see you some other time. Bisous. Pisces rising. This was so interesting because I started to record your video, and what happened was exactly in alignment with what I was telling you guys, that there's a sense or risk for an emotional burnout or physical burnout for the last week of May, beginning of June. And then funny enough, the battery of my phone died, so I had to retake this, I had to recharge and retake this again. So Pisces rising, there has been a theme around financial grind. There's been a theme about, going, overworking yourself, maybe even sacrificing romance on behalf of work. Maybe you have made excuses for yourself to not receive, to not being able to receive. Having a hard time if someone wanted to gift you something or wanted to make your life more joyful, because you have had so much focus on, feeling that you need to make ends meet and you cannot take a break and you don't know what's next. And if it's not about finances, it can be about the emotional feeling of feeling safe enough, to feeling held, to be safe enough to receive in many ways for you, Pisces rising. So when we have Mars squaring Pluto, the lord of the underworld, what you will experience in these areas of your life at this moment is, again, there's a risk for you to head into a burnout. So it might be better for you to say, you know what, I need to slow down a little bit and make an assessment of my emotional well-being. Because right now you might be so overwhelmed from, grinding, that you have numbed out, that you would not even be aware that you're this close to reaching your limit, absolute limit. So there's also a theme about, setting boundaries and keeping a balance, living a balanced life. We all are truly more connected to nature and should learn from nature, should learn for the seasons. And especially we have also Venus square Saturn, so there are some, a realistic assessment of what's possible for you, because sometimes you can be so obsessed with just keep going that you're actually spinning around yourself and you're not very productive. But you think you are productive because, hey, I've been working all day on trying to solve this problem. So, as I did for the other groups as well, Pisces rising, I will now pull a tarot card of advice for you for the last week of May, beginning of June, that came out fast. We have 5 of Wands. So this is often the card that is showing to have argues just for the sake of argues, to disagree just for the sake of disagreeing, and everyone is actually tired and don't want to fight anymore. So perhaps this is regarding your own inner struggles, to balance yourself, to keep boundaries up, that this is being brought to the surface by Pluto, the underworld, saying, hey, maybe you should look at why you're so afraid of setting boundaries, why you're so afraid of having your emotional needs met by anyone. And it's so interesting because that's really the theme for you, Pisces. I think that one of the clearest messages were you and Scorpio for these coming weeks, that you really need to set boundaries and stop the grinding just for the sake of grinding, and make an assessment so that you don't burn yourself out, because you might just be this close to doing so. So if in any way that this resonates with you, you can leave a comment below. I would like to know where you're at, how you feel, and yeah, I hope to see you some other time. Peace.